out. You know, we're as much in the dark as anybody else regarding where it goes next, because it's up to Bob and Connie. I think Connie's the one that. Well, Bob wears the pants, but only Connie can take them off. So. So what's the immediate future? Well, as soon as possible. I can only speak for my part. My job in the church, which is to go back over to the sales table and try to sell the rest of the crap. So the suitcase will be not so heavy. My wife, so I can, when I get home, my wife, you better have sold some stuff. You know, I had to change 3 tires and fix the roof leak. And that's when I could pull out this wad of $1 bills that looks like a whole lot. Oh, we got it made this month. That's the future of the church. That's up to tonight, and then I fall asleep, and then we don't know if it'll even be the church the next morning. That's the wonderful thing about it, you know. I mean, theoretically, a couple of Bobs got killed last night. Did you see the guy who looked like Bob without a mask? Had a bat stuck across his face at one point, right in front of the stage. It was kind of hard to see, but he spasmed around with this plastic bat stuck over his mouth for about 10 minutes. I'm assuming that just about everybody here either was at the revival last night or knows something about church and SubGenius. So we're not going to try to explain too much, but if anybody has any questions, that would probably give us more to say than we actually came in with to say.
Janor was in the S&N.
Of course.
I literally had to drag him the way he wanted to watch the woman get whipped.
Are they doing that over there?
Yeah.
That's not what we call sex hurt. Some people get a little bit mixed up. It can be, certainly. We're not putting it down, but that's a narrow definition. Sex hurt was what we always considered was until it feels so good it hurts. Was the idea. Apparently some humans have never caught on that was possible. As they're in a hurry, you know, it's like a contest. Who's going to come first or something. Sounds like a Abbott and Costello.
The other thing that kind of regretful is that we had to chase off the mind control people. If we had known, we would have been in here and caught that show. I mean, we may have gotten a few tips.
Well, we know how it's we know how it's usually done. Well, they know how it's done. I guess what we should be explaining is the whys, the real whys, the actual reasons.
It's kind of an instinctual thing for us, but they have it worked down to science. Sort of like the people that know the commercial by heart. Well, we just kind of do it, but they know it by heart. What you just saw Ivan do there is really what the church is all about, the future of the religion. He was counting the money. That is what the future.
That's not a good song. Those were all $1 bills.
No.
It was about $15. And actually the horrible thing was I was looking for my boarding pass that Scott handed me a little while. I still haven't found it.
We prefer to think of it as not just $15, but 15 of the last dollars that person could have bought breakfast with. That was food out of their mouths. It's not so much that it helped us, it's that it took away from someone else.
Yes, Bob loves you so much, he'll take the food out of your mouth in order to save you. If you just take the money, the unnecessary part of your budget, I would say what you were going to spend on rent or what you were going to buy food with, and you give that to Bob, and you'll be saved.
You must be saved, even if it kills you.
It's ironic that they had as a subject, what the church is going into. I'm more curious as to, it's easy to explain to you what the church is all about. You have kind of innate knowledge of what the church is about, but how do you explain the church to someone else?
It depends. We were thinking about putting a section in the new book that's like, how you, one sentence things, what you tell your school teacher, your elementary school teacher about the church, what you tell a cop about the church, what you tell the IRS, what you tell your concerned friends.
Well,
the one to tell the cops is, you ever hear Mad Magazine? And they always go, oh yeah, I love Mad Magazine. That is just, you know, hey, see Bob, he was funny, yeah. And you hope they haven't seen the handbooks that somebody was just telling me about. The New Jersey police handbook that says like spotting drug user cars and gang cars. Bob's face is one of the things that means a potential lawbreaker of some kind. Probably carrying pornography or blasphemy.
And just when you thought the police were getting stupid, they trip onto the truth every once in a while.
In Cleveland, a friend of ours ended up at a seminar that cops were being given on gang art and graffiti art, gang graffiti, and Bob's face was shown on a slide. And they identified him as Bob. Didn't know he was Bob Dobbs. And they said it was a satanic trigger that gang members stenciled everywhere to show that Bob is always watching. And I live in a neighborhood that is really, really seriously infested with gangs. Drive-bys and all that kind of stuff.
And he has
maybe that's why no bullets have come through our window. We have that little Bob
window
decal on the window and on the car.
Well,
they look really good over the parking lights or the brake lights, so it kind of glows at night. You only see it at night. Get some attention.
It should also be noted another good opener is like how to explain it to a priest. I usually start out with kind of, the graphic stuff. I say, well, we take this guy and we nail him up on these boards until he's bleeding. And then we break his legs and we stuff spears in him. And we put this crown of thorns on him. No, just kidding. No, it's only just a severed head. No, I'm just kidding. But that gets them, that loosens them up. Makes them a little more open-minded, hopefully.
I had to explain the church to the Secret Service. Way back in '81, we printed the third Stark Fist. And the Secret Service had not actually seen any of the SubGenius material. Some concerned citizen had told them they were in the LA airport and this crazy person came up and tried to give them this magazine. Strange world. You never know where it'll pop up. And Bob's Revenge on the Secret Service. We could never have spread that illustration, or it would have taken us 50 years to get that around as many copies.
Yeah, I think it was that very next week that Ronald Reagan did in fact get shot, wasn't it? By someone that looked like Jesus.
By someone who was the son of a very good friend of George Bush.
Oh, someone who is Jesus.
Yeah, somebody, John Healy, by the way, went to Highland Park High School and sat right in front of Court Holland, who edited the Arise video, co-edited the Arise video. Court says that Hinckley didn't have too many friends, but I'm sure he would have a lot more friends now if he had shamed them. Of course, you can see the rogue Secret Service guys in the balcony and that picture.
Things were kind of different back in the old days in the church. I remember back in my day, back in the old days, we used to have to light the sun every morning. Have to stoke it with kerosene. Nail your arms onto your body. To be born, you have to construct your entire body out of wood and hammer and nails. I guess you could say things were a little bit different back in my day.
Kids today, you have no appreciation for how easy it is. I mean, you come and you give us your last $15 and you think you've done something significant, but, for us, the milk money, was money that we had to pay the teacher so that they wouldn't have sex with us. And I mean, back in our days, walking to the school was it's like walking across the surface of the sun and freezing.
Yeah, when I had to go to school, I had to walk across the surface of the sun barefoot in a snowstorm while swallowing fish hooks.
At least they gave you fish hooks. Then we gave us worms.
You guys, you get these 3-prong fish hooks. We had to go with a single fish hook variety. I mean, that's how spoiled you can be. But we're not trying to make you feel guilty or anything about it. It's just to underline how fortunate you are today. Today you complain because you have maybe some newspaper that you have to stuff in your shoe because of that hole in the bottom of your sole. Or in our days, we had to stick newspapers in the bottom of our feet because of the holes in our feet. You guys got these.
I remember back in my day when you used to go to a convenience store, you'd have to wait a century for a Coke. And then your Coke can wouldn't have a bottom, and all the Coke would just pour out the bottom. And even if you could sit some, it was just water with black food coloring in it.
Then you complain because your special little opener up there just, you pressed it in. Back in our days, you drink your Coke and you get not just one, but about 30 of these Coke tabs that come guzzling down your throat right about the time you really slip it back. You don't even know what those things are, but we used to get them in our Cokes all the time. And we only put one of them in there ourselves when we opened it up. So go figure.
I can remember back in my day, to iron clothes, I had to heat my hand up over a wood stove and run over the clothes opener.
Life is so tame. Well, so what about the future of the church? I mean, maybe it's...
That's the past, back in our days.
Yeah, back to the good old days.
And we know about the sickening present.
And we liked it that way.
No, we miss those days. That's nostalgia for us. When we drink a Coke and, maybe there's some sharp ice in there, maybe we buy it at a store where someone laced it with cyanide, we think, this brings back memories. But nowadays, it's all gone. So what about the future? Where should it go? The question is, July 5th comes out, 1990, it's in the 90s, isn't it? Eight. What happens in that?
We need to reach as many people as possible, I think.
Reach into their holy wallet, that organ, the one most important organ in your body.
Wallet chakra.
Wallet chakra.
I think my Don pamphlet, my Don sermon touched off some nerves last night. I was talking to a guy out in the hallway, and he was talking about nailing a Trevino head to the door of the church.
People just don't understand sacrifice anymore. Back in my day, we understood sacrifice. Now, what about this AIDS thing? I mean, is this a conspiracy or what? People are complaining about the gays and the people that are drug users, but what about vampires?
Yeah.
Nobody complains about that. It seems to me that, that can be spreading things very seriously. So now about the future of the church. You got the man, he's making a profit. He's up here at the table. It's your chance to tell him what you think the future of the church should be between now and July 5th. More guns? There's going to be plenty of guns July 5th. You're not even going to have to put in for your license that day.
Psych women.
There'll be nothing but guns on that.
Well, the way I see it, and I'm just talking for myself, but there's several alternatives that could happen. One is nothing could happen on July 5th, except, of course, mass suicides of the devout. And I hope I see each and every one of you as devout.
That's a sweet thought.
You're not willing to kill yourself for Bob. You're nothing but a whimpering Bobby.
It's very possible that July 5th is actually July 6th. And they're just going to come on July 6th to see who didn't kill themselves. And they're going to kill those who didn't kill themselves. So if you really want to, save yourself a lot of pain, you'll do it yourself.
Well, one thing I should warn about that Bob has specifically mentioned that's going to happen on July 5th that may shake some people up. As, of course, you know, X Day happens in each time zone. It's 7 o'clock. You'll be able to, if you live in California, you'll be able to watch the rupture and X Day happening in New York on live TV. And
some people have expressed concern that will affect how people in California react, that they may be predicting the rapture where they wouldn't otherwise have predicted it. It may affect the result.
Well, there's another aspect that you may not be aware of. Apparently, now of course this is the way it seems, but apparently to see someone being ruptured in the process of being lifted up in power and glory to the escape vessels of the sex goddesses, they look sort of like a burning monk screaming in agony as he bursts into flames. In other words, all these saved SubGeniuses with membership cards in their pockets will be seen on live TV by those Californians bursting into flames and screaming for someone to put them out.
It's really pleasure. It's a pleasure scream.
And that's just the resistance to the pleasure that's about to happen when they suddenly wake up on the escape vessels. So, if you happen to be watching, a time zone ahead at 7, well, for you it would be 6 in the morning, but for New Yorkers it would be 7, let's say. Don't worry. We're sure Bob wasn't kidding about it. It's all right. It doesn't really hurt when you burst into flames and scream like
The
that.
decapitations, the mutilations, they're all
That's just part of the sacrifice.
preludes to pleasure.
It's to ready you for pleasure so intense that it's almost worse than being paper cut to death.
Okay, so that's one possible future of the church. The other, of course, is the commercial future of the church. Let's say this turns into something popular that the pinks enjoy. Let's say it turns into something that everyone starts wearing on the t-shirts, kind of like Batman t-shirts, and WREK t-shirts and stuff. Then,
We'd hate to have that many normal people like us, but we do it for the money.
yeah, they can tempt us with money.
We have to do it for the money. It would be against our religion not to.
They know they can buy us out.
People say there's too many Bobbies, but we think there should be more. We think there should be millions. That's the only way we're going to get rich off of this thing.
Well, and we don't just need their money. Those are the souls that Bob's going to be dealing to the Exodus in order to save the souls of the true subgenius.
Well, the
He
reason
can't
that
use a pink
concerns
soul. He has to use a Bobby, which is sort of in between a pink and a true subgenius. The Exodus will think they're getting a subgenius soul, and it'll be good enough. That first line will be of soul and anguish and so forth will be good enough that they'll hopefully go ahead and close the deal with Bob.
Well, if that happens, you should truly wake up scared. Because what that should indicate to you is that the anti-Bob is going the extra mile to get you out of the church. He knows that you resist that which is popular. He knows that you resist that which everyone else is doing. He knows that you're into this alternative lifestyle. And he figures that if he can make you think that your alternative lifestyle is no longer alternative, that you'll bail. And if he's willing to spend the billions of dollars to commercialize it and market it, then you should ask yourself, are you going to fall for it? Are you going to burn that J.R. Bob Dobbs t-shirt? Are you going to toss that membership card in the bottom of your drawer? Are you going to stop telling somebody at the bar about Bob? Are you going to pretend when someone says, oh, did you hear about J.R. Bob Dobbs? Oh, not again, I'm so tired of that. I mean, you should really be scared at that point. Because the other alternative, and one that we've been discussing in private, and we're not going to tell you whether or not we really believe, but what scares us the most is that maybe it is something that's a secret even from us. What if this conditioning was directed towards you? We've been telling you this July 5th and everything, just so that the people out there in the audience today sit there and go, okay, it's just a joke, and I'm in on it, It's just a joke, nothing's really going to happen. I got my membership, What if it's not a prank? What if it's real? What if we haven't even been really let in on the secret? What if they're not sex goddesses? What if they're pain goddesses? What if this is a grand plan? What if Janor is the only one who knows? He's not telling.
If it's Bob's will, then so mote it be.
We may be the first ones to die the painful death. And only the real devout ones.
I haven't formally sent him my $20.
Well, they say there's a lot of ministers in hell.
Janor never had sent him my $20.
Doug's never sent the $20 in for himself.
Who?
I never.
Dr. Stang.
He dug his grave is what he did.
You never sent in your $20 either, did you?
No,
all he did was play the hour of slack at Stanford University. Not only that, but they were getting it for free.
Well, I like to think that I endured more than $20 worth of that. No, we send in our $20 and 29-cent stamps every week, which is, of course, legal tender.
So actually, we could be wrong about all of this. Bob could be the most evil being in the universe. It could be the one true false religion of the end times predicted in the Bible.
But because it is Bob, then therefore even that would be the right thing to happen. I'm a Stangian Orthodox back to the pamphlet SubGenius. I do not question Bob's edicts one way or the other. I'll do whatever he tells me to do.
Blind faith.
What do you think we're sitting here right now?
Blind obedience.
Blind, deaf, and dumb faith.
Blind leading the blind.
But you know, there's one possibility for the churches of SubGenius is that we could just sort of all get together and just have a beach party, SubGenius beach party. Yeah, I brought the girls. Did you bring the neutron howitzers? Beach party. Yeah, I brought the little girl. Did you bring the dog to pull her bathing suit down? Beach party.
Go back to that S&M room. Jeez.
I brought the dehydrated sand. Did you bring the ocean? Beach party. SubGenius beach party. Beach party. I brought the skinny Pete. Did you bring the big guy to kick sand? There's one copy of the Doctors for Bob album left, friends. I believe
It's gonna be
SubGenius
awesome.
Beach Party in its original rock and roll form is on that album. Unfortunately, although you got to hear the Swinging Love Corpses last night, most of you won't hear Doctors for Bob, I guess, unless Gordon comes back to Little Rock and a couple of people come back from the grave. But it'd be worth checking out. One copy left in it. Sorry I'm not being funny. I'm just too tired to do anything but say.
This is not funny.
Like I say, I do what Bob says. These guys can bring up all this scary stuff all they want. All I'm telling you is just spend money, don't ask questions.
You want funny,
Bob
you
sold
go
it
down
on
to the church
smoking
on the
that
corner. But if you want comedy, you just, turn on your TV and watch the news. I mean, this is serious. People are mixing up the comedy and the reality of all of this. It's getting, in fact, that brings us very nicely into the third and perhaps most disturbing possibility of the future of the religion. And that is, what if it isn't the Exodus or some exterior force outside that's leading us on this strange commercialized pop art, clip art thing? What if it's Satan? Are you right?
What
with
if the
God?
Baptists were right all along?
I wouldn't know what they know the bastards anyway.
Well, that's the thing. I just keep asking myself, what's hell like? And, I don't know what hell's like, but I visualize it maybe with a lot of fire, a lot of heat, a lot of sweat, a few pitchforks in my neck, maybe eternal athlete's foot, my brain's kind of coming out of my eyeballs, my teeth worn down to the nubbies from grinding, and yet, at least I don't have to hang out with the Christians.
Oh, here's a clue. Here's the clue. When the judgment happens and the recording angels play back the tapes of your sins, all the dirty jokes you told, all the times you lied, stole, shoplifted, everything like that, fornicated and so forth, and they say, yea, his name is not in the book of humans, cast him into the lake of fire. At that point you say, oh yes, Lord, cast me into that lake of fire. Whatever you do, please don't throw me into that room full of naked girls, or handsome, studly men, as the case may be, or whatever the desired situation is. And that's the entrance to SubGenius hell, which, as you know, is just the pathway to SubGenius heaven. So just remember that. Just beg for the lake of fire. Whatever you do, don't send me into that room full of naked, desired sex partners. And they'll fall for it. Because this is the Baptist hell we're talking about, They're not real swell.
Copies of the tapes.
Huh?
You get copies of the tapes from the angels.
That's something that's not in the Freedom of Information Act. But theoretically, after a few sessions at Dobbstown, you can tune into the Akashic Records, which is where those tapes are kept, just like a TV or radio.
Yeah, Doctors for Bob records on the Akashic Records.
That's right. Every sound, like that cough, is just a new note in the ongoing Doctors for Bob album that we're all recording right now, we only sell little tiny sections of it. Most people don't want to sit through the whole thing. Unfortunately, we have to.
So give us a worst case scenario. I mean, what is your ultimate nightmare of the future of the religion? I mean, we're open for
a traveling sort of carnival that sets up shows in stadiums and has a group of people that follows it around the country that remains lethargic for the rest of their
When was the
lives.
last time you went to a Grateful Dead concert? Those are great!
I've been at them about every single year out of Stanford. We bring them into the Palo Alto big bowl there.
But it would
It's
be
a lot of fun.
You
Unless
think
you have it
that's
every
the
single
worst
day.
thing that's happened? To me, that's probably the best that's
I
gonna
know.
happen.
I was actually just throwing out a scenario, just in general.
Oh.
Well,
That
The
would be
worst
the
thing
end.
that could happen,
Oh, give us some more worst things. I like that. That
Not
sounds
too
good
bad.
so far.
You gotta write these down.
There was no second book of the SubGenius.
Oh wow.
Second,
Contraire.
third. Well, we may skip over that one, go straight into third.
Oh, God. The reason I'm so tired is because of that.
Here's a worst case scenario. That it's just a way of mapping out quote subversive behavior so they can figure out what they need to do.
Well,
Oh, well, we've always done that. I mean, that's just how do you think we managed to stay in business all this time? Christ, man, we get $10 per address from the CIA.
that is the fourth and perhaps most disturbing, what you should be worried about, purpose of the church and perhaps future of the church. We, of course, are what we in the church call a maggot magnet. Each and every one of you here is an important name and address for the government. Until you came here and signed up out there, there are some of you that might have escaped their otherwise perfect electronic net of surveillance and names and addresses. Now, that's one of the reasons we do a lot of mail orders, because we love to get checks in the mail, which give us not only the address and the phone number. Now, we're not saying that's what we're doing. We're acknowledging that that's what we could be doing, so that you will think, oh, well, that's not what they're doing because they told us that's not what they're doing. It's just another possibility. We want to explore all the options. Yes, sir?
Worst case scenario, Pat Robertson goes on TV and says, "Hey, come on board, guys, we love you."
Well, we have been getting some feelers from Pat Robinson. He's looking for some alternative lifestyles. Actually, Jerry Falwell was very interested there for a while, but then he got busted. Because
I
of
got
our
some
ministry.
feelers from Pat Robertson. It's a little
Yeah, he's been
distant.
giving a lot of people feelers, unfortunately.
What if the church was replaced by dark, sparkling boulders crystals?
As long as they're not decaf.
Here's a worst case scenario. If the church slogan became "Puffs of Sweetness."
They'll kiss them if they can't take a job.
We've been thinking of, working in this, trying the other buttocks, to maybe get a little more politically correct. We're worried about the political correctness issue, and for those of you who didn't get your last start fifth, we really suggested if you've been worried, because every once in a while we just kind of need to purge the correctness out. And I think that served that purpose nicely.
It was like a big spanking for all the SubGeniuses in Berkeley and San Francisco. Really what it was. They needed it too.
People typically like getting these letters that say, "Oh, we love the Church of SubGenius, we think you're wonderful," but those letters go straight in the trash can. The ones we save and the ones we frame are the ones that say, "We hate the church. We hate you. We think you're disgusting. You should burn in hell." Or the ones that are from logical, politically correct, supposedly well-thinking individuals who try to walk us through this logical progression of where we went wrong. Those are the ones we treasure the most.
And we're still planning a politically incorrect festival for the Berkeley area with a poster reading, "Get your white dick over to the politically incorrect festival."
Those with
white sheets will be allowed free admission. Well, ever since Pee Wee Herman pulled out, so to speak,
We're pulling for you, Peter.
we've been considering it. Bob Babies, kind of like Tiny Pants.
Tiny kittens. Little stuff,
You can have a little tiny, I'll show you mine, you show me yours. And let's play doctors. The Talking Bob doll.
Actually,
We're not too far from
that's
that.
probably not too far away. Somebody is working on a Bob Oracle for computers, where you type in a question and he answers it. And it comes on the screen and mutters some zippy-like saying. Only they would actually apply it. They'd be carefully done like the I Ching or astrological thing, so that no matter what it said, it would somehow hit on your problem perfectly.
How about trademark tag with him being the Bob enough bubble pipes?
Bubble. I thought of that one.
No, I know just a guy.
And that
who did
pipe
that.
Philo was playing with was great
The
too.
string.
Yeah, the
Make
string that went.
Oh, did he have one of those colored strings running through the pipe? Those
See if you can get a deal with
that is
Kellogg's.
the most brilliant invention since the telephone. Those are just amazing. Does he know what he's talking about?
could be a
It's like
large-
a dime toy that's like a pipe with holes on the top and the bottom of the string that runs through it. And if you start blowing on it just right, the string just develops this loop.
It's kind of like a recycled prop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's prop water going through the pipe over and over.
And the strings dyed psychedelic colors, so it's like it's constantly changing. And it looks just like somebody smoking frop, so that if the cops pull you over, you just pull out one of those little pipes. Oh, just one.
It'd be a great prize in a like ultra mega high brand content gut blowout colon blow SubGenius cereal.
Oh, yeah, the industrial diet.
We're gonna all get
Purple hearts, pink penises, red clovers.
We're gonna all get J.R. Bob Dobb bubble pipes and then become Lawrence Welks of anti-music.
How far is Bob the most open anti-music?
He was just in the what would you call that?
Lawrence Welk is so uncosmic that he's cosmic.
Yeah, he's a good friend of, he was a good friend of J.R. Bob Dodd, so you can almost bank on that. You just see him standing around at a party, just drooling like characters in a Ren and Stimpy cartoon.
If you watch a lot of Lawrence Welk reruns, I think you can catch them on the Family Channel. You may see these little subliminal cutaways of the audience. Every once in a while, you won't actually see Bob, but you'll see like they're showing some little old lady, and across her face will be the shadow of a man with a pipe.
Plus, like every few, like usually he says "Thank you, boys," but every once in a while you hear it, "Thank you, Bob."
Thank you, pipe. Yeah.
No, that'd be cheap. That'd be something we can manufacture. You notice the SubGenius Foundation sticks to things that can be done in a print shop. And stuff like the videos, the books, we managed to get some guy at the conspiracy to sign us up. They're always fired within a week, or they leave the job themselves or something. Seriously, it's always like that. And so then there's this whole new crop of baffled executives stuck with the task of trying to sell this stuff that, God, you gotta hear the sales reps from Polygram trying to explain the Arise video stores. Where's it go?
Well, the other disturbing, perhaps more disturbing for us, future of the religion, would be what if it just kind of peters out, just kind of dies out? Because you know what happens, speaking of Lawrence Welk, when your career kind of gets on the skids and you're not making as much money as you used to make and your fame's kind of drizzling out. What generally happens in this business is that the star's agent, sometimes the star himself, has to go hire someone to kill him, make him famous again. We saw it, the guy who overdosed Elvis, the fellow who shot John Lennon, the airplane mechanic, Jimi Hendrix. I mean, all these guys, every once in a while, you just need that extra boost in sales. And there's only so many of, well, with them there was only one, but with us there's 13 or so that we can actually get, you know. Yeah, I just hope I'm the first. I don't want to be the one waiting last.
I've been shot at twice this year at the ends of revivals. I was kind of half expecting it this year, but I think the blows hit Darren. Last event.
Well, I've had several offers for Janor Hypercleats suicide project.
Almost flew.
I had to tell my agent that I was going to have to get a 20% of post-mortem royalties on all Janor Hypercleats suicide experience posters, t-shirts, and videos. The whole thing was no dice.
Hey, I've got a split right now. I'm going to come back and open up that sales table down there in about 20 minutes or so. But I've got to go see Dr. Drummond off and a couple of folks.
Ah, yeah.
They want their money, and you know.
So enough of the Mr. Mike. We'll be around. Catch us in the aisles. Talk to you later.
Or is this a recording? Oh, okay. So you guys can I'm going to be back in the other room there in a little while.
Yeah, no. This is so one way. We can't relate to the audience. We've had an empty microphone.
The church died away.
Gosh, remember?
Back in my day.
Back in the good old days. Of one hooked fish hooks in their mouth.
Back in the good old days of the church, fucking 10 naked women in one night, smoking 20 pounds of froth. But you guys probably don't remember that. Those were the old days of the church.
In the old days, could you still run from your own legs? No?
No, you had to handle your own hands.
I will say one of the another gruesome future is SubGenius trading cards. Collect them all, and I hear tell that they're in the works, so beware.
Yay!
The Infinity Series, collect them all.
See, if Janor starts a rival
I already
church,
have,
then
but
they can
Still
market
counting.
it. See, I think you do have to start a rival church. That was one of the one of the Gemstone editor guys. No, see, the only way you won't beat it up is if Janor, does a rival church, and that doesn't mean you really